I finally played another Kirby game. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest Kirby fan. The only other Kirby game I've played, besides seeing him in Smash Bros. For the first time, was where I saw him, was in the original Smash Bros. Besides seeing him there, the first time I played a Kirby game was probably on my uncle's Game Boy Advance. He had a Kirby game with a bunch of mini games, and I don't know what Kirby game was. Really don't remember. But aside from that, the first Kirby game that I owned, played, and beat was Kirby Squeak Squad for the Nintendo DS. I got this game when I first got my DS back in 2000 and something. I don't remember when exactly, but I did get it for Christmas, and I had a ton of fun with Kirby Squeak Squad. It's not the biggest game, it's not the longest game, it's not the hardest game, but it was a lot of fun, and yeah, I feel like I'm a pretty casual Kirby fan. I like Kirby as a character, and from the games I have dabbled in, I've enjoyed, like Squeak Squad, and I finally got to playing Kirby in the Forgotten Land. So I think I've owned this game for a couple years now. It came out in 2022 for the Nintendo Switch, developed by HAL Laboratory and published by Nintendo. And yes, I think I got it not launch day, but I got it somewhere around the year that it was released, and I just never got around to it. It's been sealed on my shelf since then, and usually I try not to do that. I try not to buy brand new games unless I'm going to play them right away. However, Kirby was one of those that I've just been sitting on, and I finally got to it. So yeah, Kirby in the Forgotten Land is an extremely popular game. As of March 2024, it sold 7.52 million copies, which is insane. That's a lot of copies. And rightfully so, because this game is really, really good. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first, like, actual full-on 3D Kirby game. Usually Kirby is a side-scrolling 2D game, and yeah, it's really, really good. I had a ton of fun playing The Forgotten Land. You jump into the game, and the whole goal is to go out through missions, and your goal is to save the Waddle Dees. You're trying to save all the Waddle Dees. That's kind of like your Mario Star adjacents. And this is different from the original Kirby games, like the side-scrolling ones, where you're just playing through levels and stuff. But this one, it was a ton of fun. There's several different worlds with lots of different levels in those worlds, and they were all very, very creative. I think the level design was a lot of fun. Like, there's times where you're walking through shopping malls, you're in jungles, you're by beaches, you're in like lava laboratory places, you're in dark, spooky places. One of my favorites was like this theme park world, and that was a ton of fun. So there's a lot of variation for that, and a lot of different set pieces and different enemies and things to interact with throughout each of these different stages. So the level design was top tier. Honestly, a lot of fun that I had with just walking around and trying to find secrets in the levels, because like I said, you're trying to find Waddle Dees. There's a ton of secret ones that you got to find, but then there's also secret things that you can do, where if you press pause, it shows you kind of like your missions to unlock different Waddle Dees, and it doesn't tell you what a few of them are. Like, they're just questioned out. So some of them are like, find all these little ducklings and take them to their duckling mother, and you're supposed to figure this out, because when you see a duck, he just starts following you, and there's like a whole bunch of them, so you kind of just figure it out intuitively. There's others where you have to shoot posters off the wall, or fight a specific monster, or climb to the top of a specific peak, or destroy little snowman creatures. So there's lots of different things for you to do, and it also brings in a lot of replayability, because I mean, if you're big brain and smart, you can find everything your first time through, but I'm not. What usually ends up happening is, like, let's say that you can't figure out some of the questions. After you beat the level, it'll show you, or it will reveal one of where the secret Waddle Dees, like what you need to do to unlock that. Kind of similar to like Mario 64, where it would say like the star name, and you kind of got to go figure it out. That's like how the Waddle Dees are too. Because sometimes it'll flip and you're like, oh, I kind of understand what that means, but you still got to kind of figure it out. And other times it's like, hey, don't take any damage by this boss. Or it's like, kill this boss with a specific upgrade. Which takes me into the next point, is the abilities in this game are really, really fun. A lot of them are like very familiar. I think some of them are new. Like, one of my favorites was Kirby literally becomes like this pistol gunslinger, and that's super fun. You can charge up your shots, and you actually get an aimer that you can shoot You've got the classic boomerang one, you've got your sword one, you've got where you turn into a tornado. Another one of my favorite ones is you turn into like this spike ball thing and you can just roll around spiking enemies, and it kind of gets graphic where you could roll over a bunch of enemies with the spikes and they literally get stabbed and they start rolling around with you until you like shrink your spikes, and then they just go launching and end up dying. So it's kind of visceral in that aspect. No blood, of course, but Kirby is a monster. There's lots of fun abilities. There's the fire abilities. There is an ice ability where when you upgrade it, which is another thing you can do, it's you start running on like skates. Kirby can skate across lava and whatnot. So that's the other thing too, is you can upgrade these abilities. So after you find an ability, you have to find like a blueprint to upgrade the ability. You take the blueprint to the smith that's in the hub world, which we'll talk about in a second, and then he can upgrade the abilities as long as you have enough coins and enough like power stars, which you get the power stars by doing these like side missions in each world. Not each level, but in each world they have several different time trials where they're very basic and very easy to do, but it's like, here's this ability, get to the end. So that's pretty fun. None of those were like super crazy, so they're all very doable. And then when you get the stars, you can go to the smith and then you can upgrade these abilities. And some of them can upgrade like 3 or 4 times, because there's like boss ability upgrades too. Like you can upgrade the sword ability all the way up to Meta Knight's sword, which you end up finding Meta Knight in the game, which is kind of cool. And then King DDD, you can upgrade the hammer ability to get his hammer, so that's fun. So there's just a lot of different things that like continue to promote you to play the game. You want to find secrets because you can find collectibles, you can find blueprints, you can find Waddle Dees, which you actually need to find Waddle Dees to keep progressing the game. Everything else is bonus. Like all the little gotcha pop figure things that you get, those are pretty fun, I guess. But it's the abilities that you really want to find. You want to find enough coins, and then you want to find the abilities so you can upgrade them and use them to defeat bosses and whatnot faster. So that is kind of one of the things that kept me going. Along with trying to find all the Waddle Dees, I wanted to find all the upgrades for all the different weapons and different abilities. That was really, really cool. And then you get to go in the hub world. You can go to the smith, and then you can pick whatever ability you want anytime and take that into whatever level you're going into. The boss fights were honestly, they weren't crazy. Nothing was too hard, but I still enjoyed them. What I kind of did, and this was after the first couple bosses, I just tried to see how fast I could kill the bosses, especially when I had the spike ability, because like there was this tree boss that I fought where I killed him. I think you find a secret Waddle Dee by killing him in less than 2 minutes, which is probably something you get when you kill all the bosses that fast. But this was like the first boss where I went in and I killed him as fast as possible, and it felt really good. But towards the end of the game, like there's a lot of reused boss fights, and I don't know, it wasn't my favorite thing in the world. But it's just because there was like boss fight after boss fight, and there's kind of like a boss rush towards the end and whatnot too. So sometimes in the levels you'll end up fighting a boss that you're like, I already fought you like 3 or 4 times already. So it can get kind of repetitive, but it was fine. It wasn't that big of a deal, because the boss fights kind of change up depending on the abilities you have. Like there's a cat boss that you can fight where she's climbing on these poles, and you can, if you have the gun ability, you can shoot her down with it. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, I don't know, not like the most fun I've had with boss fights, but it was fine. One of the new things they added in this is like the super suck ability. So you can suck up a car, and instead of like turning into a car, Kirby's literally just on top of the car and kind of controlling it. It's really goofy looking, but he can do this with cars. He can do this with like these circle things that he can shoot air. He can do it with barbecues to pull lids off. He can do it with lockers to knock them over. He can suck up a staircase and move that around. He can suck up a whole bunch of water that he can use to put out fires and whatnot. So, oh, and vending machines. He can suck up a vending machine and shoot cans. I thought that was funny. Then another one that he can do, which is really goofy but also has a fun mechanic behind it that I'll get to, is he can suck up like an arch, and then the arch turns into like an airplane, and then you get into like an auto scroller level where or part of the level anyway, a section rather, an auto scroller section where you're flying around and dodging things and whatnot. And you can also find Waddle Dees during these auto-scrolling sections. And mind you, I think that Kirby in the Forgotten Land has done the auto-scroller part perfect. One thing that has always bothered me in video games that have auto-scrollers, so stuff like Donkey Kong Country, insert 3D platformer here, where there's a section in a level, like let's say in Crash Bandicoot, you're running from a boulder or the bear, or like I said in Donkey Kong Country, you've got the minecart sections. So there's lots of different auto-scroller sections like this that they have the collectibles in the auto-scroller part. And 9 times out of 10, if you miss that collectible, you have to replay the entire level to get back to that one part and hope that you don't miss the collectible again. And that is something that has bothered me when it comes to collectathons or any sort of platformer with an auto-scrolling section. So Kirby fixes that by adding one simple thing, because sometimes they have the auto-scroller sections in the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of the levels. I don't want to have to replay an entire level to get back to that specific point. And so what Kirby does is if you miss the item, or you miss the Waddle Dee, or whatever the secret is, and you get to the end of the auto-scrolling section part, they literally have a restart, like a blue star that says retry. You can click it and then you redo the auto-scroller so you can then find the collectible. And I think this is brilliant. I think every single platformer that has auto-scrolling sections like this that aren't like an entirely dedicated level where you can redo it. So yeah, there's my TED Talk on auto-scrollers. I really like them. I think they change up the gameplay. They're really fun, but it irks me when there's collectibles that I want to get, but I don't want to have to replay an entire level just to get back to the auto-scrolling section with hopes that I don't miss it a second time. So yeah, I don't know. Kirby nailed it with that. And I hope that a lot of platformers, if not all of them going forward, that have mandatory collectibles. Obviously, you don't have to get every collectible because they don't make games where you have to 100% them. Good games anyway. But yeah, it's just fun because like my collecting brain, I try to collect everything. But when I get to auto-scrollers and stuff like Crash Bandicoot or Donkey Kong Country or Pac-Man World 2 or insert 3D platformer here with auto-scroller, I usually get turned off from collecting things at that point because I'm not very good at auto-scrolling sections, and I also don't want to have to replay a level 10 different times, especially when sometimes auto-scrollers can be very, very difficult and very frustrating. So when you finally beat the auto-scroller, you're like, there's no way in hell I'm going back to run down this snowy mountain with a snowball chasing me just so I can get a fruit. No, I'm not doing it, okay? But in Kirby, something like this, where for one, the auto-scrolling sections weren't frustrating, but also even the tougher ones where I was trying to collect everything, if I missed it, I could just restart instantly. Super cool mechanic. I love it. Just a few final thoughts. I think that the art style in this game is awesome. This game looks incredible. Kirby looks awesome. The level design is great. I love literally just looking at this game is just fun. It's a spectacle. The music is a blast. I love this Kirby music. I think this is a great 3D Kirby game. I want more of 3D Kirby, and there is post-game in this. After you beat the game, you can go through, and basically how they set it up is one of the final bosses you fight, his soul blows up, spoiler, and it's all fragmented. So what you can do is you go through, each world is one level, but it's all the levels in that world connected, and you're trying to find all the different pieces of the soul. So I think there's 50 pieces of his soul per world, and then you have like 6 or 7 levels from that world that are all stitched together. So it's kind of fun. I played through the first one, but then I was like, you know, this is stuff I've already done, and I don't want to do this. I don't really care. So I didn't do any more post-game past the first world level thing. I think it took me like 15 minutes or 20 minutes to do the entirety of it. So I don't think it would take you too long to go through all the post-game stuff, and then you get a different ending. So, I mean, for that, whatever, you know, if you're a hardcore Kirby fan or really, really like this game and want more content, there you go. There is like a battlegrounds area in the hub world. There's lots of different mini games in the hub world too. Like you can fish, you can do like those puzzles where you have to tilt the entire puzzle to move a ball to the objective. There's like this cooking challenge too, which was kind of basic but kind of fun. So I don't know, that is Kirby in the Forgotten Land. I think this game is fantastic. If you own a Switch and you haven't played Kirby in the Forgotten Land, I think you should. It took me about 10 hours to beat, but I could have put probably another, 3 or 4 hours into this game, like messing around with more of the minigame stuff and trying to level up every single, or trying to upgrade every single ability, because I didn't find all the upgrades. And also you have to go beat all of those time trial things that I was talking about to get enough power star things to upgrade, along with collecting money to upgrade those. So it's a lot of fun, and if you for some reason are getting stuck on certain parts, there's lots of items you can buy to help you out. You can buy those power tomatoes that heal you all the way. You can buy items that give you like a longer health bar or more strength. So there's just a lot of things that you can buy to help you with the game. But like I said, the game's pretty easy. There's nothing really that I was getting stuck on or super frustrated with. Like I said, some of the auto-scrolling sections where I would miss something, the game's like, oh, you can redo it. So, like, I really don't have any complaints with this game. It's fun. It was great. Borderline a masterpiece. Like, this could be one of the 3D platforming games that goes down as, like, a cult classic in 10 to 15 years. Maybe not. Who knows? But I had a lot of fun, and this is a good one. So, if you like Kirby or you like 3D platformers, this is a game for you. But those are my thoughts on Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are down in the comment section below. Let me know if there's anything that I missed, or, you know, things that you really liked about the game and whatnot. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and as always, keep it rad.